All right, boys and girls. Todd here from Freedom Steel, back for another video on House Bill 5855. Former NRA contract lobbyist and the go-to gun guy on Illinois gun laws. So, what I want to do with this video is I want to talk about what this bill, House Bill 5855, if passed and signed into law as filed, would do to gun owners. I've said before, I'm not going to cut this thing apart into every minute detail to give them a roadmap on stuff. But the things I'm going to be talking about, these aren't state secrets. Ray Charles could see these in the bill. And if you have a reading comprehension level above the sixth grade, you'll be able to figure this stuff out too. I mean, all you had to do was watch Schoolhouse Rock with conjunction, junction, what's your function, and
conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Hooking up words and phrases and clauses.
all that kind of stuff, and you'll be able to see this stuff too. So, without further ado, this bill has an immediate effective date. And because of that, the minute the governor puts his pen to paper, the law takes effect. And what happens with that? First, it bans the sale of new magazine-fed semi-auto centerfire rifles. Those are verboten the minute the paper hit, the ink hits the paper. That's it. No more new sales. The sale of so-called assault weapon attachments becomes illegal at the very same time. Bans the sale of any magazine over 10 rounds. Doesn't matter what kind of gun it goes to, handgun, rifles, semi-auto, other. Bans the sale of those, Johnny on the spot. Bans the sale of 50 BMG rifles. It bans the sale of 50 BMG ammo. All that takes place. And that's all on the sales side. So retailers, private sales, whatever, transfers, loans of rifles and stuff, all done. The next thing it does, and this is a big one, is it criminalizes the possession of magazines over 10 rounds. There is no grandfather clause. I'll walk you through this, and I don't know if this is a negotiating point on theirs that they'll cave in and do a grandfather clause later and say, see, we gave on this as a way to try and find some more votes to pass something if this thing is just so egregious. I will tell you that post Sandy Hook, when we defeated the first round of semi-auto bans and stuff that came about right after Sandy Hook, they had a no grandfather clause, and that ultimately sank the bill. But I'm looking at the roll calls, the makeup of the General Assembly in both chambers, and there might be 1 out of 100 chance to kill this version of this bill, but I'm reasonably confident that they're going to pass something, but as is. And so with this bill, I want to talk to you about the magazine portion. No grandfather clause. And again, as I said, Ray Charles could see this stuff, or if you can read at any reasonable comprehension level. So subsection D on the penalties of the magazine ban, sentence. A person who knowingly delivers, sells, purchases, or causes to be delivered, sold, or purchased in violation of this section a large capacity ammunition feeding device capable of holding more than 10 rounds of ammunition commits a Class 3 felony for the first violation, and a Class 2 felony, see that? I've highlighted the Class 2 felony, for a second or subsequent violation. Here's the kicker. Look at this little word or there. Or. See that little guy there? or for the delivery or possession of 2 or more of these devices at the same time. So you got these words in here for a second or subsequent violation, but that or is the kicker. So you read that as if those other 6 words about a second violation are not there. So I'm going to edit this here real quick. And as I come back, let's read this. Let's see. So, commits a Class 3 felony for a first violation and a Class 2 felony for delivery or possession of 2 or more of these devices at the same time. Doesn't matter if you've got a FOID card. Doesn't matter, about if you have a carry license. So let's talk about this part. If you have a carry license, if you are carrying a Glock 19 with a factory magazine and you have a spare factory magazine on your belt, 2 or more, you are mere possession. You are now guilty of a Class 2 felony. This is Make It Safe for Criminals Environment Act because, if you're a liquor store owner working behind the counter and you have a Glock 19 underneath the counter, you've got a spare mag with it, Class 2 felony. If you have, if you're a woman with a couple of kids in the car stopping to get gas and you're about to get carjacked and you defend yourself and the cops show up and they find out that you had a 9mm and with it you had the magazine in the gun and you had a spare magazine in your purse and both of those magazines held more than 10 rounds, Class 2 felony. So like I said, I don't know if this was put in as something to throw away to say, oh, we're being reasonable, we're compromising. But they put down what they ultimately want. No grandfather clause on any magazines. And like I said, we're not giving away state secrets here. I'm not here to dive into every minute aspect of this bill and how screwed up it is. I've already seen this stuff being debated on forums and places, and I don't think we should be diving into every little thing. But I think this illustrates a couple of things. Remember, 2 years ago, for the last 2 years, they've been arguing up and down that we need fingerprints for FOID card holders to do the background checks properly. But if they'd have passed that, they'd still be back here asking for the same thing. There's no amount of red tape, hurdles you can jump through, tests you can pass that is ever going to get them to back off of this. It's just not going to happen. They don't care. They're running from a position of emotion. And so with that, I'm done trying to show up to present a logical argument about why this is bad legislation. I'm done trying to have a debate with emotionally crippled morons who can't get past that. That's all they think about, and that's all they're going to do is they're going to use emotion. Nobody needs this. Nobody needs that. These are all weapons of war, all the buzzwords and all the BS. So you know what? No, I'm done with that. You never wanted to have an intelligent conversation. This isn't about an intelligent, honest debate. No, not when Kim Foxx is operating a catch and release criminal justice system in Cook County. Just no. My attitude is it's time that we just walk up to them. We tell them, no, we're not here to negotiate. Matter of fact, we're here to take it back. We're here. We're not giving 1 inch. We're not given 1/2 of an inch. The time for we got to have a seat at the table, nah, we're going to turn the table over. It's just flat out time to sit there and look at them and tell them, no, pass whatever god awful piece of garbage you think you can cobble the votes together. And then we're going to go to court. And as a federal judge said, the Second Amendment is no longer a second class right, it is a supercharged right. The Tribune talked about 88 legislators that got elected endorsed by anti-gunners this past go around. They're certainly rubbing their hands together in glee, feeling their oats. Fine. We're going to court. We've already seen the BS your side has been throwing up in Oregon, California, Pennsylvania. We've already seen what you've been arguing in court. I see the traps. But we're going to have competent counsel. We're going to come after you. And mark my words, if I have anything to say about it, we're going to start to gut the Illinois statutes that infringe upon the lawful right to keep and bear arms like a fish. It's going to look like Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and Jason Voorhees all got together for a slasher movie. But if I have my way of what we're going to do to the Illinois statutes, and the FOID card challenge is already in court. We're gonna gut your precious little FOID card. It's going away. I can't wait to where I can cut up my FOID card and that precious little permission slip that you guys have been clinging to oh so dearly. I don't recall in 1791 our founding fathers having to go petition government and say, "Mother, may I," to a police organization to be able to exercise the right to own, keep and bear arms, to own and possess a firearm. So with that, 3 groups that I'm supporting these days out in the open. My gun club, Aurora Sportsman's Club, has started a Second Amendment Defense and Education Fund. As soon as we've got a link for those guys posted up, you can contribute there. That money is going to be used towards litigation primarily that will go for defense of the right to keep and bear arms here in Illinois. Not some wild goose chases, but honest, downright, no holds barred going after, because gun clubs are going to have a very big stake in what this legislation does. Like I said, I'm not going to dive into all the secret sauce on this stuff. We'll let them figure it out because I want the best arguments we can have. FFL Illinois, the Dealers Association that I was affiliated with, is going to be actively involved because the retailers, the dealers are really hit hard on this. And lastly, you have the Second Amendment Law Center, headed up by Chuck Michelle out of California. If you've heard of Duncan v. Bonta, or was originally Duncan v. Becerra, which is the mag ban in Cali that was tossed out as being declared unconstitutional by Judge St. Benitez, the first one that started the ball rolling out there. That was Chuck's lawsuit. Chuck has been a warrior and a fighter on this front for over 20 years. He's been out there slogging out. He's been through this stuff. And the Second Amendment Law Center, Chuck has said that any funds that are donated and dedicated, all you have to do is tagline for Illinois litigation. They will earmark for litigation here in Illinois that, the good guys have a say about. So with that, just trying to cut them down, make these a little shorter, and keep it to where they're a lot easier for you guys to digest. But that's where we stand today. There was a hearing. The hearing got canceled. I don't know why. Not too concerned about it. They're going to run something, and we'll just have to see what it is. So with that, guys, I'll do some other videos on some other parts of this. Is you got questions, put them below. I'll answer them as soon as I can. As always, like, subscribe, copy and paste this URL to blogs, forums, and otherwise. Help gin up our subscriber base. Share this around. I know Cam Edwards has done something on this at Bearing Arms. I know Braden over at Langley Outdoors has done something on this. and I'm more than happy to help educate those guys about this. I like the fact they're spreading the word, and hopefully we can do something together with those guys and talk about all this stuff. So with that, as always, like the channel, subscribe, pass the word around about Freedom Steel. We'll have more videos coming out. And as always, frag out.